Listen carefully, because this might be the most important thing you hear all year. Most people spend their entire lives waiting for motivation, waiting for support, waiting for a miracle. But here's the brutal truth. No one is coming to save you. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner your life transforms. The world doesn't reward weakness. It doesn't hand out success to the people sitting around feeling sorry for themselves. Life moves fast, aggressively, and unapologetically, and it only respects those who move with it. You want a better life, a stronger mindset, a body you're proud of, money, success, respect? Good. But understand this, nobody is going to build that for you. Your friends won't save you, your family won't save you, not your boss, not your government, not your circumstances, you. That's it. The mission begins and ends with you. Most people wait for motivation. But champions act without it. They wake up tired, stressed, overwhelmed, and they still show up because they know discipline beats feelings every single time. You think the world is unfair? Maybe it is, but crying about it won't change anything. Complaining doesn't make you stronger. Sitting in self-pity doesn't build a warrior. What builds a warrior is action. Consistent, powerful, relentless action. Showing up when your mind tells you to quit, working when everyone else is resting, choosing sacrifice over comfort, choosing growth over fear. Because when you finally understand that no one is coming, not to push you, not to rescue you, something clicks. That moment is the birth of a new version of you, a version that stops negotiating with weakness, a version that chooses to rise, a version that becomes unstoppable. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for life to get easier. It won't. You get stronger. And you get stronger by building yourself piece by piece, day by day, brick by brick, until there's nothing left of the old you except lessons and scars. You were not born to be ordinary. You were born to conquer the world inside you. And once you conquer that world, the external world bends to your will. Most people live their entire lives waiting for someone to show up and fix everything for them. They wait for support, for motivation, for the perfect moment, for someone to pull them out of their circumstances. But here's the uncomfortable reality that separates the successful from the unsuccessful. No one is coming to save you. And accepting that truth is the most powerful turning point in your entire life. Because once you understand that everything you want is your responsibility, you stop depending on luck and start depending on discipline. You stop waiting for miracles and start creating them. The world isn't built to reward those who wait. The world rewards those who act. Life respects movement, strength, and initiative. And the moment you decide to rely completely on yourself, you shift from being a passenger to becoming the driver of your entire life. This is where real power begins, when you stop giving the world control over your outcomes. When you stop telling yourself, someone will help me eventually. When you stop believing that your circumstances will magically improve without your involvement. You become dangerous. The moment you realize you are the only one responsible for your life's direction, here is the hook most people don't want to hear. You are both the problem and the solution. The moment you internalize that truth, everything changes. Nothing can be blamed on your past, your environment, your family, or your excuses. Because even if those things slowed you down, you are still the one who decides whether they define you. That level of ownership is not meant to punish you. It is meant to liberate you. It gives you the power back. It gives you control. Once you stop looking outward for help, you start looking inward for strength. You have to understand something critical. Waiting is the greatest form of self-sabotage. While you wait, life moves. Opportunities move. You adapt. You think differently. You move differently. You push through fear, doubt, and weakness, because you understand that the mission is yours and yours alone. You build yourself not because someone is forcing you, not because someone is guiding you, but because you know that relying on yourself is the only guaranteed path to the life you want. When you embrace that level of responsibility, you unlock a version of yourself you never knew existed, stronger, sharper, more disciplined, and hungrier than ever. Most people spend their entire lives chasing motivation, waiting for that magical spark that suddenly makes everything easy. But here's the truth, almost nobody wants to accept motivation is unreliable. It disappears the moment life becomes uncomfortable. And if your goals depend on motivation, you will never reach them. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a decision. One fades, The other builds empires. The people you admire, the successful, the powerful, the respected, they don't operate on motivation. They operate on discipline. They show up whether they feel like it or not. Here's the hook that will hit you hard. Your feelings don't care about your future, but your discipline does. Feelings want comfort, rest, escape. Discipline wants progress, strength, and results. And every single day, you're choosing between the two. The problem is that most people choose the temporary comfort of their feelings over the long-term rewards of discipline. They say, I'm tired, I'm stressed, I don't feel like it today. And that's why they stay stuck exactly where they are. The truth is simple. Your feelings are the biggest liar in your life. They will convince you to settle. They will convince you to quit. They will convince you to stay weak. Discipline, however, does the opposite. Discipline pushes you to grow, to rise, to become someone you're proud of. When you learn how to act without motivation, you become dangerous. You become the kind of person who doesn't wait for the perfect moment. You create it. You become the type of person who gets things done while everyone else is still negotiating with their emotions. Discipline is the difference between wishing and achieving. It's the difference between being average and becoming exceptional. The strongest people in the world aren't the ones who feel motivated every day. They're the ones who move forward on the days they don't. Here's another powerful hook. Your future depends on the days you don't feel like showing up. Anyone can work hard when life is easy. Anyone can train when they're energized. Anyone can study when they feel inspired. But the man who shows up when he's exhausted, overwhelmed, or unmotivated, he is the one who wins long term. Because discipline builds consistency, and consistency builds results. You don't rise by doing something once. You rise by doing it every day, especially when it's difficult. That's where your character is built. That's where your identity is forged. Discipline forces you to confront your weaknesses. It forces you to stop relying on excuses and start relying on effort. It teaches you that progress is not emotional, it's mechanical. You do the work because it needs to be done, not because you feel good. And something incredible happens once you master this mindset. You stop hesitating. You stop delaying. You stop talking yourself out of the life you want, because discipline eliminates the debate in your mind. It removes the negotiation. It creates a system where action is automatic. When you train your mind to operate with discipline, you become the kind of person who can endure discomfort without breaking. You can push through resistance without hesitation. You can stay focused even when life becomes chaotic. This is what separates winners from quitters. Winners are not controlled by their moods. They are controlled by their mission. Quitters allow their emotions to dictate their actions. Winners allow their decisions to dictate their destiny. Another hook you need to internalize: discipline is the ultimate superpower because it guarantees growth even on your worst days. Motivation only pushes you when you're already strong. Discipline builds you when you're weak. Discipline gives you progress when you're tired. Discipline protects your future when your feelings try to sabotage it. It's the shield that guards your ambition and the sword that cuts through excuses. When discipline becomes part of who you are, you stop being the kind of person who hopes for success. You become the kind of person who demands it through action. You become unstoppable. You become reliable to yourself. You become someone who can trust their own word. And once you trust yourself, nothing in this world can shake you. Self-pity is one of the most destructive habits a person can fall into. And the worst part is that it feels comfortable. It feels justified. It feels like you're being honest about your struggles. But here is the hook that flips everything upside down. Self-pity doesn't care about your growth. It only cares about keeping you exactly where you are. The moment you start feeling sorry for yourself, you stop moving. You stop thinking clearly. You stop fighting. Self-pity convinces you that your situation is permanent, that your problems are unbeatable, and that you're somehow the exception to success. But none of that is true. It's a trap, a mental cage that closes the moment you choose comfort over responsibility. Self-pity destroys progress because it blames everything except the one thing you have control over: your own actions. When life hits hard, when things fall apart, when you feel mentally exhausted, it's easy to sit down and say, "Why me?" But here's another hook that punches straight through the excuses. The world doesn't reward the person who suffers. It rewards the person who refuses to quit. Feeling sorry for yourself won't fix the problem, won't make you stronger, and won't move you forward. It only magnifies your weaknesses and blinds you to your own potential. The longer you sit in self-pity, The further success moves away from you, the moment you decide to stop feeling sorry for yourself is the moment your comeback begins. You take back control. You reclaim your power because self-pity drains you, but responsibility energizes you. When you say, this is my life and I'm not going to let this moment break me, you rise out of the emotional fog that's been holding you down. You start thinking differently. You start acting differently. Self-pity makes you passive. Responsibility makes you dangerous. It makes you a problem solver, a fighter, someone who moves forward no matter the circumstances. Another hook you need to internalize: your mind listens to everything you tell it. If you constantly tell yourself you're unlucky, tired, broken, or helpless, your mind will accept that identity. You will start living like someone who expects failure. But when you reject self-pity and start telling yourself, I can handle this, I can overcome this, I'm built for this, your mind shifts into a state of strength. And once your mindset shifts, your actions follow. You stop hesitating. You stop quitting halfway. You stop hiding from challenges. You learn to rise every time life tries to push you down. Self-pity also steals your ability to see opportunities. When you're focused on how difficult life is, you overlook the solutions right in front of you. You overlook the small steps that could change everything. You overlook your own capability. That's why people who drown in self-pity stay stuck for years. They're convinced they're trapped, even when the door is wide open. But the person who rejects self-pity becomes unstoppable because they see every setback as a setup for growth. They learn from the pain instead of complaining about it. They use hardship as fuel instead of treating it as a life sentence. Here's another powerful hook. Your struggle is not the problem. Your reaction to it is. Everyone goes through difficulties. Everyone experiences pain, loss, disappointment, and failure. But not everyone collapses under it. The ones who rise are the ones who refuse to let self-pity poison their mindset. They may cry, struggle, or get knocked down, but they don't stay on the ground. They stand back up because they understand that strength isn't built when life is easy. Strength is built when life tests you, and you fight back anyway. Rejecting self-pity doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means refusing to let your emotions chain you to the past. It means choosing action over excuses. It means choosing courage over comfort. The moment you stop feeling sorry for yourself is the moment you start rebuilding your life with clarity, confidence, and relentless determination. Because the truth is simple, you can't become powerful while telling yourself a powerless story. Greatness is never built in a single moment. It comes from a series of choices, decisions, sacrifices, and actions that compound over time. Most people want success instantly. They want results without the work, progress without the patience, and transformation without the struggle. But here's the hook that destroys that fantasy. You become powerful by building yourself brick by brick, not by wishing for a shortcut. Every small step matters. Every disciplined action matters. Every day you show up, especially on the days you don't feel like it, becomes another brick in the foundation of the person you're becoming. People underestimate the power of consistency because it seems slow, boring, and unexciting. They think greatness comes from massive leaps, dramatic moments, or big life-changing events. But the truth is that the strongest people in the world are forged in routine, repetition, and resilience. The ones who win are the ones who understand that progress is gradual and results are earned. Growth is not built in explosions of effort. It is built in the quiet moments when nobody is watching. Those moments, when you choose discipline over comfort, are the moments that shape you. That's where your mindset sharpens. That's where your identity shifts. That's where you turn effort into excellence. Here's another hook that flips your entire perspective. Every decision you make is either building you or breaking you. There is no neutral. When you choose to be lazy, you take a brick away from your foundation. When you choose excuses, you weaken your structure. When you procrastinate, you slow the construction of your future. But when you train, when you work, when you commit, when you push through resistance, you're adding bricks. You're reinforcing your strength. You're creating a version of yourself capable of handling pressure, challenges, and adversity. And the more you build, the stronger you become. Building yourself isn't glamorous. It's not about motivation or hype. It's about waking up and handling what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. It's about embracing discomfort, because discomfort is the price of growth. It's about sacrificing short-term pleasure for long-term power. Most people aren't willing to do that. They want the reward without the grind. They want the results without the repetition. But here's the truth. If you aren't willing to work for it daily, you aren't ready for the life you say you want. Brick by brick means you don't need to transform everything in one day. You just need to improve today, then tomorrow, then the next day. Those small improvements compound into something massive. One workout won't change your life, but 100 will. One day of discipline won't redefine you, but a year will. One decision to take control won't make you unstoppable, but making that decision repeatedly will. This is how true strength is built. Slowly, steadily, relentlessly. Another hook you must absorb. Your habits are building your future long before your results show. You might not see change today. You might not see it next week, but the work is doing its job. Your discipline is shaping your character. Your consistency is shaping your confidence. Your sacrifice is shaping your success. Most people quit because they can't see the progress yet, but the ones who keep going become unstoppable because they understand something crucial. The results always come last. The work comes first. There will be days when you feel overwhelmed, when progress feels invisible, when the path feels too long. But that's exactly when you cannot stop. That's when the brick you lay matters the most. Anyone can work hard when everything feels easy, but a champion keeps building even when the storm hits, even when doubt creeps in, even when everything in them wants to quit. That kind of persistence builds a foundation no one can shake. Brick by brick is how you build discipline, resilience, identity, and power. It teaches you patience. It teaches you responsibility. It teaches you ownership of your life. And as you continue to build yourself, you eventually look back and realize that the person you used to be could never survive the challenges you now conquer with ease. That is the reward of consistent effort, becoming unrecognizable to your former self. Pain is one of the greatest teachers life will ever give you, yet most people spend their entire lives running from it. They avoid it, numb it, hide from it, complain about it. But here's the hook. They never understand. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is the raw material that builds your power. Every strong, successful, disciplined person you admire has been shaped by pain, not comfort, not ease, pain. They didn't become who they are because life was gentle with them. They became who they are because life challenged them and they chose to rise instead of break. The truth is, pain exposes what you're made of. It strips away your excuses, reveals your weaknesses, and forces you to face the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. Most people crumble in these moments. They take pain personally, as if the universe is punishing them. But here's a hook you need to absorb. On a deeper level, pain is not punishment, it's preparation. It prepares you for bigger battles, bigger responsibilities, and bigger victories. Every hardship you've endured, every challenge you've faced, every disappointment you've suffered, these weren't signs that you're unlucky. They were signs that you're being shaped into someone stronger. Pain becomes powerful the moment you decide to use it instead of fear it. When you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? Everything changes. You shift from victim to warrior, from fragile to resilient, from fearful to dangerous. Pain sharpens your mind. It strengthens your discipline. It wakes you up from the illusion that life will always be comfortable, because comfort doesn't build strength. Struggle does. Here's another hook that hits harder than truth itself. The version of you that will achieve your dreams does not exist yet, and pain is the process that creates him. You don't get stronger from easy days. You don't grow from victories alone. You grow from pressure. You grow from adversity. You grow from moments that stretch you, break you, challenge you, and force you to evolve. Every setback you've experienced is shaping traits you will need later. Patience, clarity, resilience, discipline, emotional control. Pain is molding you into the person capable of handling the success you want. Most people treat pain like an invitation to quit. They think discomfort is a sign they're on the wrong path. But champions understand something different. Champions know that discomfort is proof you're moving in the right direction, that resistance is confirmation of growth, that struggle is a signal that you're stepping outside your old limits and expanding into your new potential. That's why successful people lean into pain. They don't run from it. They use it as fuel. They let it raise their standards. They let it force them to level up. Pain becomes your power when you stop emotionally reacting to it and start strategically using it. When you channel frustration into focus. When you turn heartbreak into hunger. When you convert struggle into strength. This is the transformation most people never experience because they are too attached to comfort. But comfort is the death of greatness. Comfort keeps you average. Pain pushes you beyond average. Another hook you must tattoo into your mindset. The stronger your relationship with pain, the stronger your relationship with progress. When you accept that pain is part of growth, you stop resisting it. You stop fearing challenges. You stop seeing failure as the end. You start seeing every difficult moment as a rep, a mental rep, an emotional rep, a resilience rep. Every rep builds you. Every rep prepares you. Every rep transforms you. The people who rise to the top aren't the ones who avoid pain. They're the ones who master it. They don't let suffering break them. They let it sculpt them. They don't let setbacks define them. They let them refine them. They don't let failures shrink them. They let them strengthen them. Pain becomes their fuel, their identity, their advantage. And when you start using pain like that, when you start turning every struggle into a stepping stone, you become unstoppable. You become the kind of person who can endure anything, overcome anything, and rise from anything. Because once pain becomes your power, nothing in this world can break you again. Strength is not built in the moments when everything is easy. Strength is built through relentless action, especially when your mind whispers every excuse to stop. Most people fail not because they lack potential, not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack opportunity, but because they lack the ability to keep moving when their emotions try to pull them backward. And here's the hook that exposes the truth. Your future will always belong to the person you become through consistent action, not the person you pretend to be through empty promises. Action is the great separator. Action is what transforms intentions into results. Action is what builds the kind of mindset that can carry you through storms most people would collapse under. Your life changes when you stop negotiating with your excuses. Every day, you're given two paths, the path of comfort and the path of progress. The path of comfort feels good in the moment, but it robs your future. The path of progress often feels uncomfortable, but it shapes your destiny. The reason champions rise while others fall is simple. Champions choose action even when everything inside them wants to quit. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They don't wait for inspiration. They don't wait until they feel ready. They act because they understand that readiness is created through repetition, not emotion. Here's another powerful hook. Motion creates momentum, and momentum creates mastery. Most people never gain momentum because they never stay in motion long enough. They start something, quit the moment it gets difficult, and convince themselves they'll try again someday. Someday becomes never. But when you remain consistent, when you push through the resistance, when you keep going even when progress feels slow, you begin to build an unstoppable internal force. Momentum is like gravity. Once you build enough of it, everything becomes easier. Your habits become automatic. Your discipline becomes natural. Your standards rise without effort, and your goals start pulling you forward instead of you dragging yourself toward them. Taking relentless action also builds identity. Every time you follow through on your word, you're communicating something powerful to yourself. I can trust me. That kind of self-trust is priceless. It eliminates self-doubt. It eliminates hesitation. It eliminates fear. You become someone who doesn't just talk about goals. You become someone who executes. And execution builds confidence. Because confidence is not built through affirmations or wishes. Confidence is built through proof. When you act daily, you accumulate proof that you are capable, disciplined, and unstoppable. Another hook you must internalize: your results are not created by what you do occasionally. They are created by what you do consistently. Anyone can put in effort once. Anyone can have a productive day here and there. But the person who becomes great is the one who shows up every single day, even when the world is on fire. Greatness is not a moment. It is a pattern. And patterns are formed through relentless action. You don't get the body you want from one workout. You don't build a business from one idea. You don't transform your mindset from one motivational video. You build all of it brick by brick through daily commitments. The real battle happens in the moments when nobody is watching, when the world is quiet, when it's just you and your decisions. That's when discipline is tested. That's when resilience is forged. That's when your future self is either strengthened or weakened. Most people lose the battle in these moments because they allow emotions to dictate action. But the ones who rise, the ones who become leaders, warriors, and examples are the ones who decide that their mission is bigger than their moods. Relentless action also teaches you something most people never learn. Resistance is temporary, but regret is permanent. The pain of discipline fades. The discomfort of effort fades, but the regret of quitting lasts a lifetime. Every time you push through resistance, you shrink future resistance. Every time you take action, you make the next action easier. And eventually you reach a point where the things that once felt impossible become effortless because you became stronger than the obstacles that once intimidated you. This is how strength is built, not through moments of inspiration, but through moments of relentless execution. Action is the force that shapes you. Action is the force that defines you. And the moment you decide that nothing will stop you from taking action, your life begins to shift in ways you never imagined possible. So listen carefully. No one's coming, no hero, no miracle, no rescue. But that's your advantage. Because everything you want becomes your responsibility, your power, your victory. Stand up, build discipline, build strength, build confidence, build the life no one thought you could build yourself, because the world respects those who create themselves,